Hey guys, today's Wednesday. We have later in PM session FOMC news. Yeah, actually high impact news on PM. Still, yeah, actually today definitely a avoidable day. Really, yeah, just holy manipulation. If you traded this, I hope you are still alive. But actually, I made it a winning day once again. Um, yeah, I think that's definitely a something I still need to get better to maybe accept also a losing day. But to me, it's like it's not that I gamble the direction. It's more that with seeing more and more price action, it becomes more and more clearer where we're going to draw to, and I just have to be way more patient. I think that's really important. But yeah, so let's go over today's trading day. So I took lots of trades today. Was also really difficult with regular trading hours today. I will show you in a second. But first, let's start with daily conditions. So as you already see, difficult conditions. Why? Because we are basically inside the range right here. We swapped weekly, sales liquidity, so therefore we are kind of bullish. Also, if we take a look at the quadrants right here, we failed to reach C of the wick, so that's also bullish in that case. Yeah, we definitely can attack yesterday's daily buy liquidity and also take a look at the quadrants of the huge wick right there, because yeah, it's just really um, I don't know how to say it, important PD array in that case. Um, so with that we can drop to a hourly chart, and I think already from here you see why it's really difficult. So we have all-time highs right there, and we have a high resistance retracement to the downside, sweeping the weekly low and also trading into the high time frame gap. It's kind of a bit difficult. Why? Because we have really high resistance in here, so huge wicks and small bodies relatively to the wicks. And also right here, we only swept the liquidity with a wick, so kind of you could argue that we have right there unfinished business. But yeah, if we are trading at all-time highs, if we still in a higher time frame bullish trend, it's likely that we are going to see only a shallow sweep of the liquidity, only a short amount of stops, only manipulation lower, and that's why we have only a wick and not a body. Still, yeah, definitely the high resistance retracement is not really clean, and we have not really clear structure to confirm a market maker buy model. But if you drop lower to a hourly chart, it becomes a bit more clear that for today's trading day we are bullish. So Asia was consolidating, and from London we really trade higher, and that's really I think a common I don't know, common market structure that London forms most of the time the low of the day and trades higher, and we are not really coming down for London lows if we are in trading conditions, in bullish conditions. And therefore, still, so basically what I was looking at is yesterday's high right there. So that's in that case daily liquidity. Yeah, so right there. And that's what I was looking at. And basically what we did is we traded lower and traded into the high time frame fair gap right there. So the hourly low and also into the quadrants of the wick right there. That's a order block in that case, and the wick is the most sensitive price point, because if we break structure to the upside and we are still in a bullish trend to the upside, then basically the high right here needs to support prices higher, and that's what we did. We only barely traded into the hourly fair gap right there, so right here, as you can see, and from there we are now trading higher, and right here you can see the daily quadrants of the daily wick, lower quadrant CE and upper quadrant. So with that, I think we can drop to a 50-minute chart. Right here it becomes a bit more clear. So Asia consolidating, London trading higher, midnight opening price down here, 9:30 opening price and 8:30 opening price. Yeah, really compressed price action within the high time frame gap. We saw a bit manipulation to the downside, and now we are trading higher. So that's the 5-minute chart right here as well. So yeah, really air code trading. And that's also why we have such a difficult AM session, is yeah, definitely due to the fact that we have high impact news later on in PM, so FOMC meeting minutes. And today's a completely avoidable day, definitely, especially if we yeah, take a look on regular trading hours in a second. But still, I really like to trade Wednesdays. I think Wednesdays are my best trading days, because on Wednesday it's the day where we are most likely to expand on the higher time frame. That's just it. That's what I basically learned with experience, that Wednesday is where we have the most volatility. And as you see right here, once again, we are definitely still expanding higher, and we will also see, I think, some higher prices. So yeah, still a tradable day. We just have to be a bit more patient, and that's really important. So be really patient and be really also cautious about some levels. And if we are able to be really patient, then we are definitely able to trade. But if we are, yeah, basically, if being patient is still a challenge for us, it's best to yeah, just step away from today's trading day and just relax and come back to it tomorrow. But yeah, so let's take a look on regular trading hours. Really important today. Really interesting. So as you see, we have lots of levels in here. What was really important to me yesterday is the fact that we trade back to May 8th's new open range gap, that we close it in right here. So you can see bodies closing in basically the gap. So that's completely perfect. Why? Because with that we also sweep the weekly low right there, and that's really what we wanted to see. Yesterday wasn't really easy. Why? Because we had a trending new open range gap to the downside and we overshot it. NQ basically closed even above the upper quadrant level, therefore not really easy conditions, but that's also a gap which we are referring to, because as you can see right here, today's new open range gap is also really important. And also obviously the quadrants right here from Monday, also really important. We're also having high resistance in here and trading lower. I think on Monday I did not trade, yes, because we had a no news Monday. Still we are referring to the quadrants because they just really close proximity to yeah, to price. What I was also looking at is the equal highs right there. And already, as you can see right here, that's why it's so difficult today. So with the opening, we traded higher, swept regular trading hours by liquidity. In that case, it looks to me perfect to look for shorts, because with that we can basically aim for a gap closure and eventually even yeah, for excellent liquidity. As you know, I was also looking at maybe let's do it a bit different today. Also, I was also looking at, yeah, the trendline liquidity right here. So basically, to me, as I mentioned now before, that could have been also unfinished business, especially in the forward chart. We have really huge wicks in here, and yeah, trade stops basically. But once again, in that case, the higher time frame is bullish, and therefore that's enough. Still, to me, that was not really clear so far, and I was expecting that eventually we could even see a really strong, yeah, trend to the downside. So maybe we have to change that right there. So so here you go. Regular trading hours. So I was looking at, as you know now, at 40, or if we are in trading conditions, I look for the upper quadrant level, and that's what we traded back to already with the opening, and therefore it became really difficult. So let's talk about the executions. Maybe let's just move this away and do it like that. It's a bit easier. It's a bit more better to spot. So I went short, and it was due to the fact that I showed you before. Yeah, regular trading hours market maker sell model, what I was anticipating, also reaching for London lows. I did not want it to really see today as a trending day. Later now, it's obvious that we are in a bullish day, but I think it would have been still nice to see a bit more, yeah, prominent, a more aggressive retracement, maybe to the low right here. A bit more yeah, aggressive to the downside, but in that case we're just still trading at all-time highs. We cannot expect that we are trading, I think, back to London highs, London lows, sorry guys. That's just it. We are respecting, as I showed you before, the hourly, definitely yeah, bullish market structure. So therefore we are not really bearish, but that's why I took a short, because I was expecting a, yeah, full gap closer in basically, and so the wick right here, what is it? Okay, it's with the candle right there. So I shorted right here, and In that case, it's against the 930 opening, I guess, because we have high resistance higher, and then basically manipulation to the downside. Why manipulation? Because we have this huge aggressive wicks, no wicks, not wicks, huge aggressive bodies, and that's in that case actually a low resistance fair gap, so we definitely have a huge inefficiency, and we are going to see that we will trade back to it and even higher. So that's only manipulation to the downside, resweeping basically the low right there. I think it's a bit, I don't know, a bit random. I mean, with that right here, we already have a market maker buy model in play, but once again, it's not really, it's not really obvious. I think that we are going to resweep the high, but we have to allow for that, because with that we are going to trade back to the upper quadrant. So therefore, that's definitely possible. So yeah, I went long because I realized, okay, I'm definitely off guard. We have SMT in play, we resweep the low, we trade back to our upper quadrant level. So everything is fine. We are definitely going to trade higher. And that was the perfect trade, a bit in advance of our 10 macro, but I think in that case that's okay. Took my first partial right here, AM session liquidity, and unfortunately did not had a limit order right there. So today was once again a day where we've, I don't know, really difficulties to spot where we are going to close in. I thought that we are going to trade back at least to the upper quadrant level of the daily wick, but that's what we did, or what we did later on. So we only engineered liquidity right there. In that case, I definitely should have kept my my limit order right here, because we have also daily buy the liquidity, session liquidity. That's really important. That's a obvious reversal point. In that case, with having my stop right there, I would have been done for the day. Would have been a green day, would have been a perfect day, and that would have been it. So that's how we have to trade. Only 2 trades, 1 short loss, going long and being right with that, and then we are done for the day. So that's how it should have been. But because I did not that, I went break even right there. Was expecting a bit a more like high time frame expansion, because if we are really in bullish conditions, if we are going to see that we are respect bullish PD arrays and that we are going to trade higher, then I want to see that we reach also external targets and also higher time frame targets. And with that, I mean the quadrants of our daily wick. And that's why I did not take my partials this early. I wanted to allow for a high time frame expansion to the upside with a market maker buy model being in play, and also with that being aligned with regular trading hours, because we trade back to the upper quadrant level. But in that case, I'm basically forgetting the fact that we have FOMC meeting minutes later in PM. So as I was saying, but in that case, we actually forgot that we do not need basically the whole move. We only need a piece of the pie. And in that case, that would have been perfectly enough, especially if we trade with prop firms, where we have also consistency rules, or I don't know. We cannot really aim always for those really aggressive days. So then I think I went once again long or short. I'm not really sure about it. Both is too rush, because if we get stopped within the same candle, we are definitely doing something wrong, either a way too short. So we either have a way too tight stop, or we are just way too impatient. In that case, definitely not really perfect. I think I went once again long in here, because we were respecting the CB right there, and I was still looking at the higher time frame expansion, as I was explaining before. I mean, everything was aligned. Still I get stopped, and at that point I know we are definitely trading too low. What I mean by that, if we basically start trading below CE of our move, and we start aiming towards the lower quadrant, in that case we are not in a retracement. Also already right here with the huge candle right here, that's also a bit too aggressive for only being a retracement. Yes, you could say that's only a stop run below the lows right there, and that the basically the higher time frame expansion will follow. That's why I was still looking for longs. But in that case, I realized, okay, we are definitely going to trade lower. We are definitely going to attack lower prices, eventually even London lows, and as you know, regular trading hours quadrants, so CE, and eventually even a full gap closer, with sweeping London lows. I went short once again, and I think yeah, I got stopped right here at the high, I think, yeah. So yeah, a bit impatient, not impatient, unfortunate, I have to admit. I was allowing for a wider stop in that case because we had 10 a.m. and I wanted to see that we have, yeah, only a short-term run and stops right here, trading into the CB and from there on continues lower. And that would have been almost perfect. Maybe I should have just left my stop also above the C level of the high time frame gap, but you don't really know how far this wick, how far the short-term run and stops is going to be. So in that case, nothing really wrong with getting stopped right there. It's just that we're just rushing too many trades in a short period of time within a really compressed price range. That's just the truth. In that case, if I get stopped right here and I'm still not done trading, I should just wait for 10 a.m. That's just way better. Wait for 10 a.m. manipulation and then follow the trend. What we also had right there was the huge rejection block. We traded only barely into it and from there already trade lower. So that's what we want to see. That's a perfect 10 a.m. entry right here. So 10 a.m. 9 trading into the 5-minute rejection block, and then we trade lower. We scrapped AM session liquidity. I wanted to see that this is right here only engineered liquidity and that we are going to trade lower. Actually, it was engineered liquidity, but in that case, not for lower targets, but only for once again sweeping basically regular trading hours liquidity right here, and from there on trading higher, still once again respecting the upper quadrant level, and also, as I now mentioned before, the Tuesday's upper quadrant level right there. So with the candle right here, and from there we are now trading higher. So back to it, I took my first partial right here. I was trading now 3 contracts because, as you know, the more price action I see, the more I'm getting convinced basically of my narrative. In that case, I was convinced if we fail to trade higher basically with the 10 a.m. macro, we're going to trade lower. But actually today I was proven wrong. Still, I took a really good partial right here. And I think I'm also content with getting just stop break even right there. So that was wholly manipulation then to the upside. I think we had already manipulation with the high resistance to the downside right here. So I regard the whole market maker sell model right here as manipulation. That's, to me, is really manipulation. Basically selling the opinion, or the, how you call it, selling like the impression that we're going to see a expansion to the downside, but it's only manipulating lower to sweep the low, and from there we are seeing this aggressive rally to the upside. And I was aware of that. I was aware that if we are going to see that basically if we fail to close bodies below the low right here, that's only a shorter run and stops, we are still respecting regular trading hours upper quadrant level, and we are definitely going to see a high time frame expansion to the upside. And right here we are definitely going to run every stops which were traded lower. Everyone who anticipated in shorts right here, who were kind of once again sold the impression that we're going to trade lower, has traded stops right here, and that's what we're going to hunt. Therefore, I entered long right here, put my stop, I think even below I don't know, 930 or something like that, and was just aiming for higher prices, and closed right here perfectly at the lower quadrant level of our daily order block, daily wick, 2 contracts, and with that I'm up on a day. That's the positive side of having a really high risk to reward, and therefore it allows for having a really not a good win rate, I have to admit. So you definitely can get stopped once, twice, even 3 times, and still with actually not even over leveraging. So 2 contracts traded right here, I'm still up on a day. But once again, I think I'm not really content with what I traded in here. I would have really liked it, or especially what I traded in here. So what would have been perfect once again is not shorting right here, because we are trading against the manipulation. So, no, aligned with the manipulation, but we want to trade against the manipulation in that case. We want to see that this right here is only a short run stops. We have S&T being in place, so the long was perfect, and that's what we want to see. Yeah, so perfect world, I take the long right here, first partial, and get out right there. I'm done for the day. That would have been perfect. Then I do not trade in here. I mean, yes, trading after 10 a.m. is possible. Still not really a clean trade. And also right here, yeah, just avoid this. So for today, this right here would have been our trade already. Still, I like how I definitely was able to read price action here. I think regular trading hours is insane. It's so interesting to see how it plays out, how we trade back to the upper quadrant level, how we re-sweep the low and then expand higher, how we have so much high resistance and manipulation, and still, yeah, just at the end of the day, we reach the narrative we were expecting. But yeah, we definitely have to be difficult. Once again, today was a day where we have basically two objectives being in play. One is that we are going to expand lower, that we will close in today's new open range gap, and one is that we are going to expand higher and reach for the daily quadrants of the daily wick. But in that case, it's just best to not trade or be really patient. And also, once again, a high quality entry would have been actually right here. So came down, swept the low, traded into the CB, traded higher with the inversion flag gap right here, entry, and then just aim for the high. So that would have been already perfect, maybe for CE, but then we have to sit through that. Yeah, but that could have been also a trade. So we have to look for like the really high quality trades where we have a really high probability that we're going to reach for it. And yeah, so that's basically it. Really holy yapping session today, but it was really important. Today was really difficult, and I hope you got my impression of today's market conditions. But as as I mentioned before, definitely what we see is that we are going to expand higher because today is Wednesday, and Wednesday is almost always going to be an expansion day. That's why I love to trade Wednesdays, even if we have maybe high impact news at the PM session or within the PM session. Maybe then we are not really having such high probability, high quality conditions. High resistance and seek and destroy is definitely more likely, but still we are expanding higher, and we just have to be more patient. And so basically what I don't really know is how I'm going to trade from here on, because the next 2 weeks I'm going to be on vacation, and I don't really know if I'm going to trade really, because I've not basically my monitors. I have to trade on an iPad, and I want you to learn to trade on an iPad as well. If I'm able to do that, would be great for university as well. For being, I don't know, being away, being traveling, I don't know, that would be great to be able to trade only on an iPad. But because I've never done it before, I have to see how it works out. So maybe that's what I'm trying to learn within those 2 weeks, trying to probably paper trade on an iPad. And yeah, then we are next. Basically, maybe I'm also going to record that. I don't really know how well I can trade with it, but that's basically it. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something new, and see you soon.